got a text message the other day, and I didn't know why I got this text message. It said, "Sister, you cross-eyed bitch. So I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna make you and your family suffer." And when we first met Pastor Harris, Sister Harris and his family, they seemed to have a love for God.
And the excitement was that they were coming here to win the city, you know, win souls, and this was going to be a known church, or they were going to be a known people in the city.
I'm not sure exactly how long it was before things started changing.
We started hearing rumors about Pastor Harris having inappropriate, relationship with some of the ladies from the McNeese campus.
And Ronald Harris was constantly denying any impropriety to Woodrow. He was, even though everyone in the church was hearing about his illicit affairs with not only college-age students, but wives of men in the church, everyone was hearing about that, but Harris was constantly denying it.
He had complete control of the people that were, in that church. His influence was incredible.
He called me to the office to go over the schedule. He said, "Let me show you what I'm talking about being my friend." He said, "Stand up, stand up." He was hugging me. He said, "No, get your hands, hug me back, hug me tight." So he pulled me close to him and I pulled back. He said, "No, just stay close to him. Just see, this is what I'm talking about, this type of friend." He raised up my skirt, pulled back. He said, "See, that's the kind of friend I'm talking about." And I was shaking and I would pull back, and he said, "Well," he said, don't say anything, don't say anything." He said, I'm gonna fix it, I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna talk to your husband, I'll talk to him, I'll talk to your husband about it. My mind was racing, and he did call my husband. I got home, and the husband came in, he said, "Pastor Harris called me," and I was like, "Oh, so maybe he told him something." No, but he didn't tell him. He said, he asked me to teach Bible study tonight. And then 2 weeks later, he said, "But you know what? It's really your fault." He said, "Because you came, and just like you came today, you came by yourself, and you're back again by yourself." He said, "See, I can do whatever I want to you because you're not going to say anything."
There's a reason why it's prohibited for doctors to have sexual relationships with their clients. There's a power imbalance in that relationship. This man was manipulating Janet. He had her not literally brainwashed, but she was so terrified of this man, whatever he told her to do, she would do it. And when she described the first incident of the rape, it would just make you realize she was terrified of reporting what he did to her to anyone, certainly scared to report it to her husband.
We had left the church. We had been gone, we had left in 2 years we had been gone from the church. And so he said if we would ever leave, or I'd ever leave, that he would always make my life live in hell. Pastor Harris said he knew people. He said nobody's not gonna believe you, because he knew people that was in the court system. He was gonna make sure that either, I'd have a nervous breakdown or mental breakdown or commit suicide. He was going to see that it would happen if I would try to take him to court.
Woodrow received a text from Ronald Harris, even though the text was actually sent to Janet's phone, but it inadvertently went to Woodrow's phone. And it's telling this man, "You and your family will suffer." And he goes on to threaten them, and he calls Janet a very profane and vile term.
I tried to call Pastor Harris, and he didn't answer. So I sent him a text back and said, "I got your message." That's where it started. And I approached Janet on that, and she told me we're gonna talk about it.
I told my husband that, he'd been sending texts, but I would delete the text. I would delete them. "You're gonna see, look, I'm following you. I'm outside your window. I'm outside your door. Tell Woodrow to look outside." And I'd delete the text. I'd delete, and it was just no stopping. Then I would just exist. I would just get enough in me where I could get the work to do, just enough work, or get to wherever I was going, just to live. I wasn't living, I was existing.
Where's your emergency?
Yes, I'm on the corner of DeSoto and Royal. There was a man assaulting a woman
He grabbed me like this and he turned me around. And when he turned me around, he just took his fist and he punched me in the face. And when I fell back, it was gonna hit the ground, but he grabbed me from hitting the ground. And then he pulled me back up, and then by the time a car was coming, and you can see the car, so he grabbed me like, cause I couldn't get out of bounds, but he was holding me so tight. And the lady, I can hear the people that when they drove up, they looked to the side, and then the lady, she said, he's beating you? And then I just turned my head to it, and I said, 911, 911.
When they contacted the police, when the police then found Ronald Harris, and in the reports says they specifically instructed him to stay away from her, and he didn't. He continued to, do what he was doing. That certainly, I believe, bolstered Woodrow's credibility, and Janet's as well. That what was happening here was not just some ordinary, affair. There was much more to it than that.
I was hearing so much, and she was finally getting it out, and I had to let her get it out. I asked Jan a question when we were coming out the door one day. I said, he did this everywhere else. Did he ever come to my house and do this? And she said, yeah, he actually came to the house, and he raped me inside the house too. And but that was pretty tough. You can't, protect your home. Her friends were coming over. I said I was going to leave, and just for a little while. And well, I drove by the church, and at first my heart was beating out of my chest, and I wound up turning down Desertail Street. And when I passed by, it just started getting dark. And when I looked to the right, I could see in the window, and Pastor Harris was up there, and he was dancing up on the pulpit. And I said, he's doing what he always did. And something clicked in my own head. I said, yes, that's what he's always been doing. He hadn't changed. He's still doing the same thing. And I got my shotgun, well, I had my shotgun with me at the time. And I went inside the church, and that's when I had shot Pastor Harris. But I walked outside the church, and I walked and I called 911, and they must have been getting 100 calls, because it knocked me off when I called to tell them I just shot a man.
No, I'm the suspect, man. I'm the one that did it.
When they finally got me again, they told me to go put the guns down, and I put it down, and where they could get to it away from me, and they said lay down where they could see you with your hands out. And I laid down, and I still had the phone. I had it on speakerphone, I believe it was. And anyway, they finally found the right street, and I'll never forget, the policeman got out, and it's just like you see it on television. They came out with the guns drawn on me.
Get your hand away from your phone! Yes, sir, yes, sir.
They put me in handcuffs. I sat out there, and I saw the pain that people were going through. His family members were pulling up, and they were trying to go see to him, and I knew while I was sitting out there that he was dead, because I saw the ambulance leave and they didn't have any lights on, and then they took me down the road to the sheriff's department.